Kim Seeling Smith is a future work expert. Kim, good afternoon.
Hi, Jacqui.
Well, what's your view on, firstly, Donald Trump's announcement and whether or not Australia could follow suit?
Oh, I definitely think Australia will follow suit. It seems that every time a big company, in this case the federal government, but every time a big company has a return to office mandate, there's a big company in Australia that follows suit. So it's, I fully expect this to happen, and I fully expect it to happen within the governments in Australia. But it's really, really short-sighted.
Okay, so could Peter Dutton, is it likely that he looks at this? Because he's obviously looking at Donald Trump, right, and saying this is what's working for him, this is what I want to do here. Could we see this in a federal situation? And do you think overall the change would be beneficial? Would there be any reason to do it?
Not if they want to keep their employees. No, definitely not. There's the return to office makes big headlines, but if you actually drill down into the data, it's interesting because there were a couple of universities that just recently did a study, and this was written up in the AFR a few weeks ago, in fact, right before the holidays, and they looked into something like 50-ish, let's say, S&P 500 companies, and they triangulated that data with people changing jobs on LinkedIn. And what they found was that when the companies issued a return to work mandate, their employee turnover went up significantly, something like 14%. Yeah, I'm looking at the study right now. 14% increase in employee turnover after the firms introduced the return to office. And there was just an article the other day on Amazon and how it's having teething pains because they don't have enough car parks, they don't have enough lifts going up to the office, and so the employees are getting really, really frustrated. And if you've got more jobs than candidates to fill them, what do you think is going to happen?
So it's fascinating, isn't it? So we read today, and I guess this kind of goes into this whole conversation. We read today about how hard it is to run a business in Victoria. Yeah. And then we look at what is essentially a really bloated public service. And to the point that, the Premier's come on this program and said, well, we've got more people employed in this state than ever before. But that's because we have so many public servants, right? So what's the future here in Victoria? Small businesses are still doing it tough, but yet the bureaucracy and the public service can basically choose your own adventure when it comes to your workplace.
Well, and I think that that's part of the reason that Victorian businesses are doing it tough. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this just today, and she reckons that it goes back to the dip that businesses took during lockdown. And obviously Victorians were locked down more than anybody else in the world, and we're still recovering from that. So, the businesses, especially when you look at the businesses that are hardest hit, which are construction companies, construction and hospitality, those were the two industries that were hit the hardest. And then Victoria has all of this regulation, more coming. It's just a recipe for a really tough business climate, especially for small businesses.
Kim Seeling Smith is a future work expert. Really appreciate your time, Kim.
Thanks, Jacqui.